Hello, students. Yesterday we actually started chapter number 2 from the book Flamingo, and the name of the chapter is Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood. And yesterday we read the first story that was Sometimes I Find a Rupee in the Garbage about Sahib-e Alam, written by Anis Jang. And Sahib-e Alam was a rag picker. He was living in the area of Simapuri near Delhi, at the outskirts of Delhi, and he had come from Bangladesh, and he was a rag picker. Now, today we are going to start the second story that is on page number 17 in your textbook. And the caption of the story is I Want to Drive a Car. The hero of this story, the protagonist, is Mukesh, and Mukesh insists on being his own master. I will be a motor mechanic, he announces. And he actually announced that he wanted to become a motor mechanic, and he actually wanted to be his own master. He also had his own plans. He did not want to carry on the business that he was supposed to do by his family. And that is why he says that he wanted to be his own master and he wanted to be a motor mechanic and nothing else. So he had these kind of plans for his future. Do you know anything about cars? This is written over here. Do you know anything about cars? I ask. I here means Anis Jung. Anis Jung actually met with this boy Mukesh, and she wanted to know that was he, you can say, able to drive a car, or did he know anything about the cars or not. So he replied, I will learn to drive a car. He did not know how to drive a car, but he always had actually these kind of plans to drive a car, to learn to drive a car. And he answers, looking straight into the eyes of Anis Jung. His dream looms like a mirage amidst the amidst the dust of streets that fill his town Firozabad, famous for its bangles. Now this story has the background of the place that is Firozabad, and Firozabad is famous for bangles. And all the, you can say, people, every family, every boy, every girl is engaged in bangle making in this area. So every other family in Firozabad is engaged in bangle making. It is the center of India's glass blowing industry. Glass blowing here means melting industry, because glass would be melted and then it would be given different shapes like bangles or so many other things, where families have spent generations working around furnaces. Please underline this word furnace, because furnace here means fireplace. So a fireplace is to be seen everywhere, and near these fireplaces these people, they are welding glasses. Welding here means that these people, they are actually joining the glass and making bangles for all the women in the land. It actually seems, it looks as if all the people throughout the world, they are using the same bangles, they are wearing the same bangles which were used or which were made by the people of Firozabad. This is the second paragraph. Mukesh's family is among them. None of them know that it is illegal for children like him to work in the glass furnaces with high temperature in dingy cells without air and light. This paragraph is very important, because all these people like Mukesh and all these children like Mukesh, they did not know that this is illegal to work in these glass furnaces, because this is actually illegal. You cannot work, because a child is not allowed to work inside these furnaces, or they could not be used as laborers anywhere in our country, in India. But they had to work, and they were not only working, but at the same time they are actually working in very dangerous conditions, like there is high temperature, and there is a word that is written here as dingy. Now dingy here means dark and dirty. So these people, they are spending their prime time in dark and dirty cells. Cells here means small rooms without air and light. That the law, if enforced, could get him and all those 20,000 children out of the hot furnaces where they slog their daylight hours. Please underline this word also, slog. Slog here means to work out, to, you can say, labor hard. So these people, they are laboring hard their, you can say, time in those dingy cells, and they had to work throughout day, they had to work throughout their lives inside these holes or these small rooms, often losing their brightness of their eyes. And not only this is dangerous, but this is actually proving hazardous to their lives, because often these children, before going into adulthood, they are losing the brightness of their eyes, means they go blind, they become blind because of this dangerous work of bangle making. Mukesh's eyes beam as he volunteers to take me home. Now, actually, what happened that Mukesh wanted that Anis Jung, who was the author of this chapter, he wanted, or maybe he invited Anis Jung to come with him to his home, which he proudly says is being rebuilt. And he actually told this fact to the woman that they had a newly built house and he wanted to show it to Anis Jung. We walked down stinking lanes choked with garbage, past homes with that remains hovels with crumbling walls, wobbly doors, no windows, crowded with families of humans and animals coexisting in a primeval state. This paragraph is very important because it actually shows the dangerous, the bad condition, the pathetic condition of their houses and you can say the surrounding in which they are living. So these people, they are living in a primeval state. It is written here, primeval state. What is the meaning of primeval state? That these people, they are actually living in very bad condition, or maybe they are living as if the human beings, they were living at the earlier stages of the lives, because at that time human beings and animals, they were living in the same room and they did not have separate rooms. In the same way, these people, they are living in stinking lanes. Stinking lanes here means that a lot of bad smell was coming out of these streets or lanes and they were choked with garbage. What is the meaning of choked here? Choked here means that these, you can say, they were actually filled with garbage, or these, their lanes were actually full of garbage and a lot of bad smell was coming out of it. Past homes that remain hovels. And what is the meaning of hovel here? Hovel here means hut. So there were some huts, there were some mud houses and with crumbling walls. Crumbling walls means it shows the bad condition of the houses of these people. Wobbly doors. Wobbly here means shaky doors, because they were not stable, their houses were not you can say built properly. So there were wobbly or maybe shaky doors, no windows, and a lot of people, they were crowded with families of humans and animals. Not only humans are living inside those houses, but animals are also living. He stops at the door of one such house, bangs a wobbly iron door with his foot and pushes it open. So he actually kicked the door of his house and it got open. We enter a half-built shack. Now shack here means hut. So they entered into a hut. In one part of it, thatched with dead grass, is a firewood stove over which sits a large vessel of sizzling spinach leaves. On the ground, in the area, in the large aluminium platters, are more chopped vegetables. Means when they entered into the house, they actually understood, they saw that there it was a thatched, you can say thatched here means that the roof of the house was made up of some kind of straw and dead grass, and there was a firewood stove also, which with which they actually saw a small vessel. Vessel here means they saw a kind of tumbler. And there were some platters, aluminium platters here means जिसको हम बोलते हैं थाल. So there was a platter, there were some big plates on which they had some spinach leaves, and there were some chopped vegetables also. Chopped here means cut. A frail young woman, frail, this here means that there was a very, you can say, young woman, and she was very lean and thin, and she was cooking the evening meal for the whole family. Through eyes filled with smoke, she smiles, and she actually smiled through the smoke, because there was a lot of smoke to be seen inside the room, because she was cooking some food. Through eyes filled with smoke, she smiles. So she smiled because she knew that there was a guest in the house. She is the wife of Mukesh's elder brother, not much older in years. Means she was not much older in years. She has begun to command respect as the Bahu. So she was the Bahu of the house, and the daughter-in-law of the house, already in charge of 3 men. Means this Bahu, this woman, had to look after 3 people. Number 1 is Mukesh. Number 2, Mukesh's elder brother, because she was the wife of his elder brother. And the third one was their father. So when the older man enters, she gently withdraws behind the broken wall and brings her veil closer to her face. What is the meaning of this word veil here? Veil means a kind of covering, जिसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, पल्लू. So she actually took a covering, she actually took her chunni over her, or maybe a kind of covering over her face, because it was their custom not to show their faces in front of the elderly people of the house. As custom demands, daughter-in-laws must veil, means must cover their faces before male elders. They could not show their faces. It was seen as something indecent. So in this case, means they actually had to show their respect to the elders. In this case, the elder is an impoverished. What is the meaning of impoverished here? Impoverished means a poor bangle maker. And here the elder man who actually entered the house was nobody else but the father of Mukesh and his brother, and father-in-law of this woman. And he was a impoverished, means poor bangle maker. Despite long years of hard labor, first as a tailor, then a bangle maker, he has failed to renovate a house, sent his 2 sons to school. All he has managed to do is to teach them what he knows, the art of bangle making. Means throughout his life, he could not renovate his own house. He could not send her children to school. But what he had got is that he actually knew how to make bangles, and he had taught the same thing to his family also, to his children also. He had taught the same thing. Next paragraph. It is his karam, his destiny, says Mukesh's grandmother, who has watched her own husband go blind with the dust from polishing the glass of bangles. Now, she actually went to you can say to the another woman who was the grandmother of Mukesh, and grandmother of Mukesh, she was an old lady, and she started speaking to Anis Jung, to the author, and she said that it is his karam, his destiny. Who is he here, or who is his here? His destiny, his karam. This is actually, she is talking about her family, about her husband, because she says that these people, because they are born and brought in the family of bangle makers, or they actually got their birth in Firozabad, that is why they had no other, you can say, opportunity. They had no other they had no chance to do anything else but to make bangles, because they were born in the family of bangle makers. So they had nothing else to do. And then this line is very important. Can a God-given lineage ever be broken? What is the meaning of this line here? This says that can these people ever be able to, you can say, come out of this trauma? Can they be able to start a new business? Can they be able to look for something else, but not about, you can say, doing bangle making? So there is a word that is very important, that is lineage. Please underline this word and write the meaning family tradition. So here the grandmother was actually asking a very critical question, that would these people be able to break this lineage, this God given, you can say, opportunity, or maybe God given tradition would ever be broken by these people? Would they be able to do anything else than bangle making? She implies, born in the caste of bangle makers, they had seen nothing but bangles in the house, in the yard, in every other house, in every other yard, every street in Firozabad. Means if you would go to Firozabad, each and every yard, each and every house, each and every yard and street would have nothing but spirals, but you can say circular bangles would be seen everywhere. There is a word, spiral. Spiral here means, again, circles of bangles are to be seen everywhere, maybe of different colors like sunny gold, paddy green, royal blue, pink, purple, every color born out of 7 colors of the rainbow. So every color that you can imagine would be seen in those bangles which are made in Firozabad by Firozabadis. Lie in mounds. This is very important line now. This mounds here means heap of, or maybe a lot of bangles are to be seen in unkempt yards. Again, very important. What is the meaning of unkempt here? Untidy, very dirty yards. And there are so many bangles to be seen, strewn, or maybe they are actually spread everywhere, are piled on 4-wheeled handcarts. If you would see that some people, they would have a carriage. 4-wheeled cart का मतलब है यहाँ पर means if somebody would be going with these you can say hand carts selling these different colored spirals of bangles everywhere, pushed by young men along the narrow lanes of the shanty town and in the dark hutments next to lines of flames of flickering of oil lamps. And these dark hutments means these people, they are actually living and they are making these bangles in very dangerous condition. And the author has commented that this is a shanty town. Shanty here means, again, very dull, very, you can say, full of huts, very untidy town. And in these dark, very bad huts, next to lines of flames of flickering oil lamps, sit boys, and in the flickering, in the unsteady light of the lamps, the boys and girls of these Firozabadi families, with their fathers and mothers, they actually sit together and they weld. Weld here means that what they do, they actually join. Welding means join pieces of colored glass into circles of bangles. So they make bangles from glass of different color. Their eyes are more adjusted. This is very, very important line, that the eyes of these people is actually more adjusted to the dark than to the light outside. These people, they are more comfortable in the darkness than to the light outside, and that is why they often end up losing their eyesight before they become adults. This is very critical, this is very pathetic, and this is very bad for them, that even before becoming adults, these young children, they sometimes become blind, they lose their eyesight. Savita, a young girl in a drab pink dress, sits along an elderly woman soldering pieces of glass as her hands move mechanically like the tongs of a machine. I wonder if she knows the sanctity of the bangles she helps make. Now this is very important. Savita was a young girl and she was actually sitting inside that house, and she was you can say dressed in a pink dress that was drab here means very dull. Pink dress was worn by this lady, sits together alongside an elderly woman, and she was also sitting with an elderly woman soldering pieces of glass. Soldering here means joining again. She was trying to make some bangles as her hands move mechanically like the tongs of machine. Again, a very important line, that these people, they are so skilled in making bangles that they actually used to work like machines. Their hands are no more hands. They have become so mechanical that they actually make, or you can say they work like a machine. I wonder if she knows the sanctity of the bangles. This is again a very important word, sanctity. Sanctity here means the sacredness. So she says that these people, or the girls like Savita, they did not know the sanctity, the sacredness, the holiness of the bangles she helps make. It symbolizes an Indian woman's suhag. This girl Savita did not know that these bangles which she was making, these are very important part of a woman or Indian woman, because these bangles, they actually symbolize the suhag, the husband, the wedding of a woman. Auspicious in marriage. Auspicious here means very good omen, or maybe good sign. It will dawn on her suddenly one day. This is very important phrase, dawn on. Dawn on here means she would be able to understand this. When suddenly one day her head is draped with a red veil, means she would be able to understand this, that these bangles are very important. When she would, you can say, going to get married, when she would go and she would be married to a man, then she would be able to understand the importance and the sanctity of these bangles. When she would be given a red veil over her head, her hands would be dyed red with henna, means मेहंदी लगाई जाएगी उसके हाथों में, and red bangles rolled onto her wrists. She will then become, and she would be a bride. उसको दुल्हन बनाया जाएगा. Then she would be able to understand that how important these bangles are for a girl. Like the old woman beside her, who became one so many years ago. And this lady also became, you can say, the grandmother. She also became bride some years ago, maybe 40, 30, 60 years ago. She also became bride. Still has bangles on her wrist. Means this lady, this grandmother, Dadima, also had bangles in her wrist today, but no light in her eyes. But she had lost the light because of soldering the glass, because she was involved and indulged in making of bangles. She had lost her light now. She had become blind. एक वक्त शेर भर खाना भी नहीं खाया, she says in a voice drained of joy. What is the meaning of drained of joy? Means the voice in which she was speaking, it had no joy, it had no happiness. So she had lost her happiness, and that is why she said that she was not able to even get a full meal throughout her life. She has not enjoyed even one full meal in her entire lifetime. That is what she had reaped. Her husband, an old man with a flowing beard, says, I know nothing except bangles. All I have done is make a house for the family to live in. This man, means the husband of the grandmother or maybe grandfather, he actually was boasting that he did not know anything except bangle making, and that is why he actually got an opportunity to do something, and he had done nothing, but he had made a house for his family. Hearing him, one wonders if he has achieved what many has failed in their lifetime. He has a roof over his head. At least, maybe hearing him means somebody would be, you can say, wondering that was this something extraordinary that was achieved by this man, because at least as a Firozabadi he has got his own house, because some people, they even had no house of their own, they had no shelter. The cry of not having money to do anything except carry on the business of making bangles, not even enough to eat, rings in every home. Means every home, everybody was indulged in bangle making, and they had no other business. The young men echo the lament of their elders. Again, very important line. What is the meaning of this line? The young men echo the lament of their elders. Lament here means sad cry. So he says the young men, जो जवान लोग थे of these families, they also were lamenting, they were also crying in grief of their elders. Like their elders, they were also, you can say, feeling handicapped. Little has moved with time, it seems, in Firozabad. It seems as if nothing has changed throughout time. For last many years, nothing has changed in the life and in the city of Firozabad. Years of mind-numbing toil has killed all initiative and the ability to dream. This is very, very, very important line. What is the meaning of this line? And what is the meaning of this word, numbing? Author Anis Jung wants to tell us that because these people, they had to, you can say, toil hard. Toil hard here means they had to work hard throughout their life. For so many years they were making these bangles. Because of this hard work, they had, their mind has numbed here means it has become dead, and they have lost the ability to dream, they have lost the ability to initiate, they have lost to start anything new in their life, and they have lost their curiosity or creativity also. They cannot think of doing anything new now. Now this is again a very important line. Why not organize themselves into a cooperative? I ask a group of young men who have fallen into the vicious circle of middlemen who trapped their fathers and forefathers. This was actually asked by somebody. And maybe Anis Jung asked one of the boys or one of the women. And she wanted to ask that why these people, they were not able to organize themselves, why they don't start organizing themselves and start a kind of cooperative like Amul or maybe something like that. Because if villagers, they would start their own business making, you can say, manufacturing these bangles for themselves, then they would be able to earn more. And they should sideline the middlemen. जो बिचौलिए होते हैं उनको मुनाफा ना दे करके, you should start your own business, make something for yourself and try to market, you can say, your bangles yourself. And she asked this from young men who have fallen into the vicious circle of middlemen who trapped into their fathers and forefathers. Even if we get organized, this was actually replied by one of the young men, and he said, even if we get organized, we are the ones who will be hauled up by the police. This is very important. What is the meaning of hauled up here? Hauled up means they would be dragged. Dragged means they would be taken into, you can say, into the jail, or maybe they would be imprisoned. They would be taken behind the bars, and they would be thrown inside prison, and they would be beaten badly and on false charges only. So he says that we are the ones who will be hauled up by the police, beaten and dragged to jail for doing something illegal. On false charges, these people, they would be harassed, they would be taken and dragged into the jail by the police. They say there is no leader among them. It means that they could not really speak anything against the authority, and they could not raise their voice because they would be hauled up, they would be taken by the police, and there would be a lot of false charges which would be put and thrown on them. No one could help them see things differently. Means they could not start anything new now. They could not think of doing anything else but bangle making. Their fathers are tired as they are, and they talk endlessly in a spiral that move from poverty to apathy and to greed and to injustice. Means their life actually starts from these things. It is actually a spiral. Means their life is like a circle, like a spiral that starts from poverty to apathy and from greed to injustice. Means their life is full of poverty, their life is full of apathy. Apathy here means that they are actually facing a lot of indifference. Indifference means unsympathetic attitude of the people, and they are going through the greed of the people. क्योंकि लालची हैं लोग, nobody wants them to grow as they would not be able to grow like them now. And to injustice means their life is full of greed, injustice, apathy and poverty. So listening to them, I I see two distinct worlds. There is a question actually that was asked in the CBSE exams last year, that which two distinct worlds Anis Jung was talking about. So these are the two distinct worlds which she was talking about. One of the family, distinct here means two different worlds she was talking about. One of the family caught in the web of poverty, burdened by the stigma of caste in which they are born. The other, a vicious circle of the sahukars, the middlemen, the policemen, the keepers of law, the bureaucrats and the politicians. Here she actually wanted to tell us that when she was looking at the people, at the life of the Firozabadis, she noticed two different worlds. First was the family and the people who were caught in the network of poverty, and this poverty was burdened by stigma. What is the meaning of stigma here? The burden, or maybe the disgrace, the shame of caste in which they are born, because they are shameful. Why? Because they are born in this caste, in these families which were, you can say, which belong to bangle making or bangle makers. And the other, you can say, part of their life, other world was the world of the people who are actually taking advantage of these people. They are the, you can say, others, a vicious circle. Vicious here means the bad circle of sahukars, the money lenders, the middlemen, the policemen, the keepers of law, the bureaucrats and the politicians. All these people, they are actually making the life of these people hellish. All these people, bureaucrats means officials, keepers of law means judges and advocates, policemen, middlemen, sahukars here means the money lenders, जो पैसा देते हैं आगे किसी को, किस पे, इंटरेस्ट पे. So these sahukars, these middlemen, these policemen, keepers of law, bureaucrats, they are actually taking advantage of these people, and they are creating and politicians also, they are creating the life of these people hellish and bad. Together they have imposed, together they here means these bureaucrats and sahukars, middlemen, all these people, they have imposed the baggage on the child that he cannot put down. Means these people, these people of Firozabad, these bangle makers, they are compared to a child who has been given a bag, who has given a school bag full of books, and it is so, you can say, burdensome that he even cannot carry it and he is not able to put it down. So before he is aware, he accepts it as naturally as his father. And when they actually notice that they are caught in a bad vicious circle, they are in a situation where they cannot really get themselves away from bangle making, and they would have spoiled their future in bangle making. To do anything else would mean to dare. This is very important line. What is the meaning of this line? To do anything else would mean to dare means if they would think of doing anything else than bangle making, it would be seen as a challenge by the society, and then they would be beaten, they would be, you can say, dragged behind the bars by the society. And daring is not part of their growing up. Means, because if they wanted to do something new, it actually would be seen as daring, and daring is not taught to them. They have no daring, they have no challenging power in them, they have lost their initiative, their dream is gone, and their ability to dream is no more. So when I sense a flash of it in Mukesh, I here means, who is I? I here means Anis Jung. When Anis Jung, the author, when she noticed that Mukesh had that flash of light, that, you can say, curiosity, that initiative, she was cheered. I am cheered here means that she became happy that at least somebody from Firozabad wanted to do something new in his life. And she said, and he said, I want to be a motor mechanic. He repeats, I will go to a garage and learn, but the garage is long way from his home. I will walk. And Anis Jung actually wanted to know that the garage was maybe 15-20 kilometers away from his house and how he would be able to manage to go there. And he replied that he could walk, and means this shows his determination. He was really determined to go and start his career in, you can say, as a you can car garage manager. He insists, do you also dream to flying a plane? He's suddenly silent. He became very silent, and he says there is an embarrassment that he has not yet returned into regret. He is content to dream of cars that he sees hurtling down the street of his own town. Few aeroplanes fly over Firozabad. Again, a very important hint, because what actually happened, she wanted to ask that was he interested in flying a plane. So he replied that he never wanted to fly a plane because he knew that it was beyond his imagination, it was beyond his means. He knew that he could go and try to get a car, he knew that he could try to become a motor mechanic. Not beyond that, he could not become anything because his means were so meager, his means were so, you can say, small. That is why he knew his limitation. And when she asked him that was he interested to fly, you can say, an aeroplane or become a pilot, he refused. He said that no, he knew that his dream was not to flying a plane, but his dream was to become a motor mechanic. So with this line, we are going to end the chapter number 2. We'll discuss the questions in the next class. Thank you very much.